Beautiful! Let's see if you're powerful.
Oh, hello again. This is a friendly reminder that my full training course on fighting multiple attackers is on sale for a very short period of time. So if you like what you learned today, you'll love that stuff. That stuff's the good stuff. Let's begin. Welcome back to the mini course on fighting multiple attackers. This is video number 2. Now, if you haven't watched video 1, you should probably go back and watch that first, because in that video I established that you can use a Muay Thai clinch to essentially grab one opponent's head, turn him into a human shield, while you crush him with knees, hide from the other guys, but not really hide, because you can also buckle their kneecaps backwards and kick them in the stomach and do a ton of damage. All right, and I tried to demonstrate that in the most realistic ways that I could, using real life examples whenever possible. If you did watch it, then I just wasted 15 seconds of your precious time. If not, there's a link to that video on this page. Go ahead and click it. Moving on. I'm about to show you the most powerful strike in all of mankind, but please keep in mind that murdering somebody with the clinch is as simple as reaching out and grabbing his head and smashing a bunch of knees into his body. Okay, we don't have to overcomplicate things. So while I like blasting my forearms into a guy's collarbone to try to break him on the way in, and other folks like gouging eyes on the way in, all that matters is you reach out, you grab his head, you blast him with some knees, and he is going to drop. However, I have to show you that there are different levels to this game, and I like throwing strikes that are so disgustingly powerful that even if the guy blocks it, he still gets his wind knocked out, or it costs him the ability to actually close a fist. If you want to build power like that, you're going to need some damn technique, okay? Remember, it was our technique that allowed us to break Deontay's posture down effortlessly instead of hanging on his head, and it's technique that's going to unlock major power. So look, if you're watching this lesson and you think to yourself, man, this is a lot to remember, or I can't do this, it's okay. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you what else is out there, and I'm showing you what else we can build up to. So we're off to a great start. Let's keep it going. Now that I've taken this clinch with an attack, I need to start dragging this guy around by his head. And in order to do that, I need to utilize clinch rule number 2, squeeze your elbows together. Pretty much as hard as you can and at all times. If I don't squeeze my elbows together, Deontay can shoot up and in, take his own clinch, and now he's kneeing me in the body. Elbows block him from pommeling in. So I take a clinch, I squeeze my elbows together, go ahead and try and get him in. Okay, I can block his arms from taking his clinch. I maintain control of his head, even when he's really trying to squeeze him in there. You also end up creating the clinch jaw lock. So if I clinch Deontay's head and I squeeze my elbows together, essentially what I've done is create this position right here and kind of a hole, and that's where his neck sits. But if you look at this thing, the hole is much more narrow than Deontay's jawline. And that means when I squeeze my elbows together, I'm essentially locked on his jaw, and I can drag him around by his jawbone. It is incredibly difficult to resist that. It's one of the strongest grips you can have on somebody's head. If your elbows can stay locked, escape is impossible. Look, you can't squeeze your head through a hole that's smaller than your jaw. It's just common sense. A lesson learned by adorable animals every day. Also, the right pressure in the right places will dramatically affect your opponent's flow of oxygen on multiple levels. Please observe. Hey Deontay, tell us a story.
So one time Trav was teaching class.
We were talking about how you can get rid of
So you can clearly hear how when I pinch my elbows together, it affects his ability to breathe. It makes it tougher for him to force air in and out of his throat. Now at the same time that's happening, my forearms are also pinching his carotid arteries. So I actually slow down the major channels of blood flow to his brain. I'm attacking his wind. I'm also attacking his ability to pump blood, at the same time ripping knees into his body to make it even tougher for him to breathe. So when you look at the collective combination of these effects, you can see why the clinch will exhaust somebody in 20 or 30 seconds. It's a cardiovascular onslaught, and all you have to do to build it is stand there with your hands in front of your face and pinch your elbows together, or grip a wide object and squeeze your elbows together. You might not even be able to do it, but you'll quickly build the strength and flexibility that it takes to lock this thing on somebody's head. And hey, bang out some wrist curls for additional forearm strength. So lock your elbows together. That's all I've taught you so far. Once you have lockability, your clinch can support power movements like this one. One of the most important moves in this entire strategy is called an angle drag, and it's responsible for maybe 90% of the positioning in this kind of a fight. Okay, it's this move that we're going to use in order to toss this guy around and keep him between ourselves and the other opponent, and generate usable momentum. More on that later. So let's say somebody's running around over here, he's trying to punch me in the side of the head. I step, drag, I keep this guy between me and the other man. Somebody throws a punch, I slip, I can do a nice little angle drag, keeps me again nice and safe. Or let's say there's somebody behind me, I can do an 180-degree angle drag where I basically switch positions entirely with this guy. Now to execute the most powerful strike in all of mankind, you have to do a full power person tossing angle drag. So let's break down the form on this one. All right, so the first step in an angle drag is supposed to be a step outside and then a pivot off of that step. And you can see that's obviously what connects me to the guy's body weight and gets him moving. What I'm gonna do is actually blast off of my right foot to send me into that left step. So I go, okay, and that obviously opens him up with a lot more speed and it creates a lot more power right off the bat. Just pushing off will still give you power if that foot's already in front, but the blast from the rear is more dynamic. So to start feeling this, I would say push off of your right foot, step into your left foot, and then open up. Okay, just do some repetitions of that, and then do some where you actually blast off of the right foot, kind of like sitting down, and then opening up. Next, we can use some very simple physics to really get this guy moving. Now, instead of doing what everyone wants to do and just kind of muscling people with their core and with their arms, I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna let my body weight fall. And the moment that I let it fall, I'm going to drive using the big, powerful muscles in my leg in this direction. So I step, and that's what gives me the powerful snapping action that actually swings this guy effortlessly across my field of vision.
By combining gravity with a little snap of the head, you can toss opponents much larger than yourself. Now, normally when you start moving people around and snapping them down, their posture will break, and then of course you get the knee to the face, and you always want to look for that. Unless, of course, you're trying to set up the most powerful strike in the universe, in which case you need to be patient.
All right, so our open is powerful, our drop and our blast is powerful. The last thing you have to make powerful is the upper body aspect, which is kind of like swinging a baseball bat with your elbows pinched together. Looks really cool. Not.
But we don't care about being cool, right? So bang out a bunch of reps of rad resistance you can use in an inanimate object, in this case, a tub of spackle, which seemed to work all right.
This has been brought to you by Drydex Spackle. Not.
But random stuff can make your movements powerful, so be creative.
Now, if you make them powerful enough, there's actually a moment where you're propelled by Deontay's body, and we're gonna harness every single bit of that momentum.
If you have a training partner, do some repetitions and obviously try to feel this effect. Once you can feel it, you can time it.
So the moment that I drag Deontay and his body weight catches onto mine, I'm going to time that moment with a pull, like literally tearing into my arms, and I'm also gonna pull it into the ground. And that's gonna send my body actually flying. So, all right, I'm gonna fly for a second. Now, when I land, I'm going to stomp into the ground. That's gonna project my hips forward, boom, and leave my upper body back, my knee shoots through the guy. So all things considered, it's step, drag, pull, and blast into the ground. Or for a live demonstration,
That's my stunt double.
Nevertheless, with this strike, you can absolutely lift people off the ground. And Deontay definitely does his own stunts. I gotta give the guy a lot of credit. He took an awful lot of knees. A pretty ridiculous amount of knees.
So what makes this knee so powerful? What we've created here is a series of compound movements that never stop adding up power. So all the power that we create by opening and dropping and blasting and snapping with our arms, that's all converted into momentum, and then we get to hang on that. Once we're hanging on it, of course, we get to rip using our arms, or blasting our hips forward, and obviously throwing every other element of what might be the most disgusting strike ever.
The most disgusting penetrating strike ever.
That's what ruptures spleens, collapses lungs, and causes the dreaded liver knockout. Power strikes like the one in today's video should be universally known and studied across all styles of martial arts. No matter what, if you want to really hurt somebody and you want to debilitate him and drop him, a great way to do it is to hit him really, really hard. And I think all of us can agree with that. And yet still, certain martial arts styles are going to throw roundhouses that are quick and snappy and balanced and yes, effective. And other martial arts are going to throw roundhouses that are designed to rip through you and damage deep body tissue. Now, if you're fighting multiple attackers, we want to focus on debilitation. We want that deep tissue damage. We want to heavily attack the cardiovascular system, and knockouts would be great anytime that we can score them. So whatever techniques we have to pick out in order to make this stuff work, they better be focused on those particular goals. Now, I do have a full training course that is packed full of debilitating techniques that will end fights instantly, and they're all actually significantly less complicated than the one you learned today. All right, master a few of these moves, and you'll be able to destroy people instantly, thus scattering multiple opponents. And look, the course is on sale for a short period of time. It's not running out just yet. Trust me, when it is, you'll get the countdown emails. I'll let you know about it. But if you're super fired up about the stuff that you learned today and you want to learn more, by all means, click the button beneath this video and I'll tell you what else there is.
Yeah.